Hello everyone, my name is Manvi Singhal and I have secured rank 292 in this year's UPSC CSC examination. This was my first attempt and I took psychology as my optional subject. Now, one of the reasons that I decided to take psychology was that I had recently graduated in psychology in 2022 and therefore I thought that I had sufficient knowledge to be able to use it in the examination. However, just after the prelims results were announced, I started revising the subject and writing answers, and therein I realized that I wasn't prepared with psychology. Navigating through the Telegram channels, I came across Manasvi sir's Telegram channel, who was rank 100 last year, and he had uploaded his evaluated answer copies. Now, one of these evaluated answer copies were done by ChromeIAS, that is by RAVIKA ma'am, and therefore I got into contact with ChromeIAS and went for the evaluation of answer copies there. The first test that I wrote was evaluated, and soon thereafter RAVIKA ma'am called me and she told me that I had scored average in this particular test and pointed out different set of mistakes that I was committing. The first big mistake was that my answers were only reflecting the content. It wasn't reflecting the holistic understanding, which is more important and can only come once you are able to draw interlinkages between paper 1 and paper 2. Secondly, the use of contemporary examples, the use of examples from general studies was missing. I didn't use flowcharts and therefore my answer was looking very plain in its nature. Along with this, ma'am also pointed out that I had enough knowledge and content, but what was more important for me was to reflect my understanding and conceptual clarity while writing the answers, and that was also something which was missing. Therefore, I decided to go for the crash course. In the crash course, I was actually provided with more than 60 videos, wherein each and every video was 2.5 to 3 hours long. And because I was on a time crunch, I had very less time with me. I decided to watch these videos and at night and prepare my own notes out of them and supplement these notes with the already prepared notes that I had in my hand. This led to massive value addition and enrichment in my answers, because the second test that I wrote, I scored above average in this particular test. And I was very happy because I had improved by a huge margin in these tests that I had written. There were linkages that I had actually tried to draw from paper 1 with paper 2. And for example, one of these linkages can be in the form of using the concept of psycho-cybernetics that we study in the last chapter of paper 1 and using this concept in sports psychology. So these interlinkages will fetch you extra marks. And these can only be drawn once you have conceptual clarity and understanding of the entire syllabus that is at your hand. Along with this, what I also started to do was write previous year question papers. Irrespective of whether you go for mocks for psychology or not, the relevance of previous year questions cannot be missed, because they not only allowed me to complete my syllabus on time, but also prepare those topics which have high probability of being repeated for the answers that I am writing. Now, once I wrote the second test, still there was a scope of improvement, and ma'am told me to mention more examples in my answers. And she also told me that because psychology is that optional which is usually time taking, as well as while you are writing your answers, it may take certain time. So instead of writing in the traditional format, which is introduction, body and conclusion, I can also draw flowcharts. And during the actual paper, I realized that this was extremely helpful for me because there was a time crunch there also. And therein I ended up drawing a lot of flowcharts in the paper 1, which turned out to be beneficial for me. Also, while doing this, I started to prepare my own notes, which I revised during the period of 5 days between the GS4 paper and the psychology optional paper, which made me or enabled me to revise my optional multiple times during the less time that I had. After this, during the interview stage, I am thankful to sir and ma'am because they took a mock interview which was followed by a very detailed feedback session. Now in this feedback, sir and ma'am actually evaluated and sat with me to improve each and every answer that I was answering. And because psychology was my optional, there was high probability that psychology would be asked in my actual interview as well. And approximately 70% of my interview actually revolved around my DAF and psychology as the subject. So therein, ma'am and sir told me to divide my answers and better structure them while answering, especially with respect to psychology. And therefore, I was able to be my natural self while answering the questions in the original interview. Now, definitely going for a coaching is something which is absolutely your choice. But I would just like to tell you all that for psychology, do not run after any kind of content or building knowledge or reading diverse books. Instead, what you need is that you are able to draw connections between both the papers. You are able to use current affairs, contemporary knowledge, as well as supplement it from the general studies examples. And for this, you have to sit with the subject. So you have to put in your own hard work, and with the right guidance which was available to me for psychology under Ravika ma'am and Mridul sir, I was able to do it and execute it appropriately. So thank you so much, Ravika ma'am and Mridul sir, and all the best to all of you.